The engine was overheating just as we came in.
Which we didn't get on film.
But I see like something hanging out of the engine strainer, like see the screen, see that stuff dangling? I wonder if it's like low water flow.
After an amazing season cruising the Sea of Cortez, we're hauling out Calico Skies here in Penasco, Mexico, at Cabrales Boat Yard, which is located at the very top of the sea on Mexico's western coast, east of the Baja California Peninsula.
Up in the air, it's strange.
We're an hour's drive from the US border, and besides being a safe spot for hurricanes, this will be a great location to procure supplies from the States, which we'll definitely need for the boat work we've got planned. There's no time to waste because our project list is extensive, and giving Calico's keel some attention is a high priority. We'll be repainting her bottom, but it's been many years, and since then we've sunk a few inches thanks to our heavy cruising gear. So Bill, with the help of our new friend Dane, is taping the position where our new waterline will be.
Like that's supposed to be attached to the hull.
Where's the plate?
Yeah, the rudder's like... I don't think it should have that much wiggle. So we got some blisters here to deal with. We definitely have some hull work to do on the boat this haul out. Now we've been soda blast, you can see some layers of, I think these are blisters popping out. This is definitely a blister because you see some like honey dripping out. Void there. Also the back of the keel. So I'm going to grind this out and fill it in. So we just got the boat hauled out, and man, do we have quite the project list coming up. We haven't had the boat hauled out since January of 2020, and it was only for 1 week. So I think there's some maintenance that's deferred on the boat. So we're gonna have a busy period refitting Calico a little bit, especially as we prepare to possibly go further distances across the Pacific.
Yeah, and some of these have an order of operations to them, and we will get to that later on in this video. But for now, we're just gonna start knocking some stuff off the list. Yeah, there's a few like small things that we can do easily that we're just gonna get done to, or at least start today, to kind of help us get into the groove. Because when you have such a big list, it's kind of overwhelming. But when you start doing small things, it gives you momentum. So that's our plan for today. So first thing we're gonna do.
Yeah, so I think a good one to start off with, is sort of just more muscle than brains, is getting those old through hulls out for our depth sounder and our speed meter. So the boat currently has 2 transducers in it. One is a paddle wheel that keeps the speed through the water, and the other one is a depth sounder that measures the amount of water the boat is floating in. The new technology has 3-in-1 transducers, so that the new one we're installing will have speed, depth, and temperature on one, so that frees up 1 hole. So we're going to be putting in that second hole, through hole we have in the boat, we're going to be putting a forward scan in. And the forward scan is basically this thing, and it basically, it shoots forward 8 times the water depth and shows what's in front of the boat. So that'd be really handy if you're coming to an anchorage where the charts aren't accurate. You could see in real time with a sonar what is coming ahead of the boat 8 times the water depth. So if we're in 10 feet of water, we could see 80 feet in front of the boat, and we could see as the shoreline rises up when where we want to drop anchor, or for entering a reef pass or something like that.
Right, the reef passage is the one that I think about all the time, because we will be going to the South Pacific at some point in time, and a lot of those areas aren't charted very well. And so, yeah, you'll have to visually navigate to see reefs, but this will give us so much comfort.
Yeah, it's just one more tool in the tool chest, right? You use your eyes, you use your common sense, you use the tide tables and local knowledge, but we also will have a sonar transmitting ahead of the boat and giving us information in real time on our chart plotter screen as to what's coming up ahead of the boat. So we're pretty excited to have that, and it's kind of cool technology has changed that the same two holes could now give forward scan as well as all the data you need for depth, speed, and temperature.
Yeah, so basically we're going to have an upgrade in that we're going to have the forward scan now, and then we're also going to be replacing the depth sounder, which, as you guys saw, we had in the wine glass for a while, and then we had in the toilet bowl wax. That's going to be no more because we're going to have a brand new one.
Yeah, and we'll actually have speed through water, which we haven't had in like 10 years. So it'll be cool.
So the first thing we got to do is get rid of...
Yeah, the first step is to get the old through hulls out. So the transducers sit in a sleeve that goes through the hull, which is a through hull, obviously. So these transducers slide in and out, and you can clean them while the boat's in the water and stuff like that. But the actual sleeve is likely glued to the boat, so it's going to take some brute force to get them out. I think they're probably 5,200 in, so I'm probably going to get my sledgehammer out and pipe wrenches and just kind of break them out of the boat.
Good way to get this refit party started.
Yeah, so that we could get the new through hulls in. So this is kind of like brainless work, though. It's a good one before we get organized, you know? Like, you can't really screw this up too bad.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that the temperature has come down substantially. So it's like 80 degrees or something, like very pleasant. So
it's very manageable.
Yeah, it's very manageable.
Which is good. So this is the through hull for the forward scan. You can see it has a little flap. So if you have to clean the forward scan transducer from marine growth, this will stop the water from coming in as fast. It'll still come in, obviously. So this comes through the bottom of the boat, and this will be faired against the hull outside. And then this piece of the washer is what secures the through hull to the boat. And we're going to put a bunch of sealant on here, and on here to keep it from leaking. So I am going to go down below and pass this through to Grace, and then she's going to put the lock nut on it. I used the pipe wrench to get this loose, and I'm just trying to back it off. Okay. How did this come out? You know, I'm not messing around now. Coming out. Okay. Let's make it pull out from the other side now. Look at all that 5,200. It's still pretty stuck. That was not that easy. 5,200 kids. So there's a hole in our boat.
Jeez, it's really, really weird.
You ready?
Yep. Okay.
Wow.
Washer. That's a lot of
that as tight as you can do it?
Yeah.
Pretty good. So these are the old through holes that we pulled out. You can see I did some damage with the sledgehammer, but I got them to pop out. This is the old depth sounder. That's what usually shoots the beams below, just the water depth. And this was the speed, but it's been a little mangled, but yeah. I got them out. So it took a bit of work, but they're out. So these are the two through hulls, the two new through hulls. They are not sealed up yet. I don't have any sealant in there, but I am dry fitting them to make sure that they are fair enough. It's especially important for the forward scan, which can't be tilted more than 10 degrees. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a level with my iPhone, and this is our speed, depth, and temperature, and this one could go up to like 22 degrees, so I'm not as worried about it. Okay, so this one is 3.5%. So that's pretty solid. 3.5 degrees. The boat is, let me make sure the boat is level.
Sure.
Yeah, the boat's level. So okay, so this is like 3. Okay, so this one, like, I don't have to do any leveling. This is just fine the way it came through. Mm-hmm. And then this one is 9 degrees. I think they said 10 was, under 10 was preferred, but up to 20, so this is fine too. So I'm happy. So we could go ahead and seal these up and call it a project to win.
Nice. One down, like 100 more to go.
Yeah, we still have to wire this one in, like still a lot of things to do, but.
I'm just thinking about the number of holes that we have in the boat, because I know we have, obviously, these two.
That's the 3 over here.
3, sorry, which are the...
Oh, these 2 here, the transducers?
Yeah, I was gonna say we obviously have these 2 transducers holes, and then we have these 3...
This is the head intake, sink outlet, head outlet.
Head outlet, but then we also have this hole that not every boat has. This one we have...
No, this one here.
Yeah, this one.
Oh, this one here.
We drilled when we were in New York. We used to have the boat sailing around New York City. And we did that because we used to have to put the boat on the hard for the winter. Yeah, it's called a garboard drain. And it's basically a direct link to the bilge. So if the mast is up and water comes into the bilge, you don't want to leave your bilge pump on all winter. We've actually killed our batteries because they had the boat jacked up a little bit, and the float switch triggers and just stays on in perpetuity and kill the batteries. So this just lets all the water come out of the boat while it's in storage, and it's nice to have. For anyone who doesn't know, water actually comes into the boat through the mast and drips down into like what I kind of call the sewer of the boat, which is the bilge. So our boat can always be like wet in the bilge in theory because of the opening at the top of the mast. And then what is this hole? Sink. Oh, the sink. Okay. This is the water maker or air conditioning. Okay. This is the engine strainer. This is where the raw water comes in for the engine, forward facing, so it sucks the water in. Yep. And then there's 2 more back here. This is where the cockpit drains out. So we have what? I think we have 7 through holes plus 2 depth transducers plus the garboard drain, so 10 holes in the bottom. So we had one boat project actually that's already been done, and this happened between the time that we hauled out, went to Annapolis for the boat show. He's sort of a legend. Took a few weeks, and so in that time, we hired the boat yard to do a job, and we're going to talk about that now. It's sandblasting of the hull, which Bill can explain better than me what that means. The boat was sandblasted. So sand or soda? Actually sand. Oh, I think they actually went and dug sand up in the desert over here. He had to actually, I was talking to the yard manager, he had to actually go get a truck and bring sand in to put in the machine. So I'm assuming it's sandblasted. So sandblasted. There's sand all over the boat. But we haven't had this done yet. We've had the boat since 2009, so it's definitely time. There's a lot of layers of old paint on there. Yeah, because it basically removes every single layer of paint is what the process does. And we had like, what, like 10 different layers? Yeah, like hard, soft, we had a whole mixture of paints. Yeah. But it does reveal flaws in the boat, which we didn't know we had, just because we've never been down as far to the layers. So we're noticing like, this looks like there's some blistering. So these are gonna have to be ground out and epoxied. We found some voids, like in the keel here.
So I was talking to some of the guys who are really reputable here, namely Jamie from Totem, and this is basically a flaw from manufacturing of boats in the 80s when they tried to curve the fiberglass.
Show the curve thing again?
When they tried to lay this tight angle curve here. Modern day construction techniques, they would vacuum bag the glass so the resin and glass cured properly, but this is just basically a bad radius, and that's why there's some voids in here. So this is the fiberglass of our bilge, this is the lead. So you can see this is our whole keel where our bilge is. So I'm gonna have to grind this out and repair that.
Yeah, and we also have to make sure there's no water in there, right?
Yeah.
So we need to get a moisture meter and just make sure that over time no water went in there, and so we gotta find a moisture meter.
Also,
so we don't have to buy one, hopefully.
all the blisters also are an indication that the hull could be wet. Maybe we went too long between barrier coats, so we're gonna find a moisture meter to make sure the hull is dry enough to actually apply the barrier coat, because if we apply the barrier coat while it's wet, it's gonna trap the moisture in. So we might have to dry the hull out for a month to let everything to properly seal it up again. This is all got to be refaired. Like you can see, this is a normal crack. The Sabre manual discusses it, is where the lead meets the fiberglass, and they're just different materials, they stretch differently. But yeah, all this has to be refaired and make smooth again. What else we got to do?
So that's that, and then you can see it goes along wherever the lead keel joins the hull all the way. And then we just have to go through, you know, every inch of the hull.
We're gonna take a grinder and just like get that and then lay some glass over it. Just try to, like lots
all
of
these little bumps are potential
osmosis points.
Osmosis points. So points where water has gotten in, to this. This is called the barrier. No, the barrier coat's gone.
This gray is the barrier coat. They didn't take it fully down. So the gel coat is where you see this.
The white. Okay.
The white. That's the actual like hull. They said leave a little bit of the old barrier coat because it's easier to get it to adhere for the new barrier coat. But obviously we have to go deeper where we have issues. This is a prime example of a blister here. You can see it was leaking some, almost looked like honey, which is a resin and salt water mixing. It cracked. So this one actually popped. That's a prime example of a blister.
Before we can do anything about these blisters, we have to make sure we've located them all. We're going to do that through a combination of visual and auditory inspection, marking each spot that has potential for moisture. And when we're finally done, we'll end up with a total of 71 suspect spots, a surprisingly high number, exceeding our expectations.
So today I'm checking out the moisture levels on our boat. Because we have blisters, I want to make sure that the hull isn't wet or anything like that before I apply a new barrier coat. So I was able to borrow a moisture meter from one of the women in the yard here named Marga. So I got the chart off marinehowto.com, and it says for moisture meter readings on fiberglass, 0 to 15% is considered dry. Obviously I'm going to see higher moisture readings at the blisters. So I am going to go ahead and just sound around the hull and see what I get. 11, 12, ooh, higher because of blister, 11 or 12, 11, 11, 11, another 11, 11, that's gonna read higher because the bottom pin's still on there. So this area of cracking, I don't know what's going on, but that is spiking. It's like good right there.
Taking these moisture readings gives us a numerical baseline, which could be helpful if we're unable to tell through visual inspection whether the hull is dry enough to begin remedying the blisters. The desert climate here in Mexico is the perfect place to dry out the hull, and while the sun and dry air do their job, we'll turn our attention to the rest of our lengthy to-do list, beginning with a thing that unexpectedly becomes a massive roadblock. Check back next week and follow us as we continue to dig until we discover something very disturbing indeed.